Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello and welcome to the Psychic Hour on WLTKDB. Let's Talk Radio. We have a combination hybrid show today with the wonderful Leanne Thomas. We're going to be doing oracle card readings. So we're going to be vibing, talking, taking questions, and just come on in and say you want a reading or pop down your question, and that lets us know that you're looking to have just that. Hello, Kevin. Hello, everybody coming on in. And so from the get-go, I want to bring in Leanne. And we're just going to vibe it out and talk right from the top of the hour. Hey.
Hi. Hello.
Yes. It's lovely to see you. I was talking about earlier how you're decked out in white. And I just love the vibe that you bring. I really do.
Oh, thank you. I think we have a good vibe and a good combo together too, you know, for as long as we've known each other, and then getting to finally come back together, it just ups the ante.
Exactly. Like almost, wow, like 8 years, I think, from the original time first that I bumped into you again. And before that, even longer. So like 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never know where life is going to take us, or you or me. You never know, right?
So good. Yes, absolutely. Oh, how exciting. Look at all the people coming in here. It's exciting to see the names show up here on the side. So what a great show you have. Yes. It's going to be so
Thank you. People get really excited for readings. People they just start lining up. So I want to introduce you a little bit. So you've been on the show before, but you are the founder of Angelic Hope and the creator of the Angelic Hope Archangel Oracle cards. You work full-time as a medium with spirits, and you teach spiritual development classes, and you travel and you demonstrate your gift often and frequently. You have a background in education, and you have been a public school teacher for 20 years before you retired. So you're involved with group readings, the work with the angels, and oracle cards. So this is something that is very close and dear to your heart. And then are you working with your angel deck today actually as well?
Yes. Yes, I will be sharing. I'll be pulling cards for people and then sharing messages that I receive. So it'll be like a dual thing. But I like using the cards, Kelly, because people can see how they could use that. You don't have to be me or you. This deck really was made for anybody.
Exactly. And when you were building the archetypes, did it kind of just come to you and you're just like, this needs to be like that, and I'm going to let it just flow free? Or did you kind of envision it where when people pick up this card, like they should feel this kind of energy, they should see these kind of colors? How did you create the deck?
Yeah. Well, so it was a long process because I'm stubborn. And so the angels were working with me, encouraging a deck to come out that was very purely from the nature of the angels, who are highly evolved souls over eons of time. And so a lot of the things out there weren't exact representations of what they wanted to see for people, being that they are everyone's biggest cheerleaders, whether it's your guardian angels or the archangels. And when I originally started creating the deck, I kept trying to formulate it around things I had seen before. And it just kept falling apart. It wouldn't come together. I didn't like what I was seeing. It just wasn't vibing. And I heard one day, stop using 44. Stop using the 444. Stop using that pattern. That isn't what we represent. And they said, use the number 7. The 7 represents the seeker. The 7 represents the knowledge. It represents And you would understand the number 7 better than anybody else. So there's an angle that numerology would even have with this that I'm probably not even expressing as well, but that's kind of the notion of jumping in with that 7. And my deck is predicated on 7 different suits that represent areas of life so that anyone can pick it up and get a message, whether it's about career or creativity or relationships, spirituality. So within the 7, not even thinking about it at the time, and I don't know why I wouldn't have, but there's 7 main chakras. Now,
Ooh, yeah.
there's lots more chakras than that, but there are 7 main ones. Once I got into that, the deck just started to flow, and I could see how it would represent so many walks of life, people at different stages of life, and that anybody could use it with a lot of ease, if you will. And I worked with this gal who didn't speak any English to formulate the pictures because we just kind of connected. And her boyfriend spoke English. And so she was from Italy. And so we collaborated online, and her vision that I had, I could see come to life in the pictures. And it wasn't even that I needed to tell her. There were very few pictures that I went through, but the colors, like you were mentioning, absolutely tell somewhat of a story. And some people are more adept at understanding or pulling in color, whether they know it or not, right? Some people with sound or music or the words. So when I created the book that goes with it, there's a prayer or invocation. There's a to-do list with every card that comes. And so that people can see how they can apply practical behavior when using the deck. So I'm really looking forward to using it today for people so that they can see themselves how the deck would be so easy for them to use.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I just remember with the Archangel Uriel card, it was red and orange, and then, well, the one that was picked up mentioned Archangel Uriel, so there was like a nod too. And then we also got the Archangel Michael card last time, and that's usually associated with blue, but I think it was blue. It would make sense it was blue, but I just remember that orange and the red color. So I was just curious how you kind of put everything together,
Yes.
whether you saw it or you read it from religious texts or researched, or whether they presented you the colors. Because yeah, you said there's a reason why you did the things that you did, and invocation.
It was a long process of collaborating with the archangels themselves in order to represent what they really wanted to say and who that they were and how they would want to move through others, and that it's so easy to call them in. It wasn't so much that I thought about color, but I sensed that they worked with the gal that did the pictures with her to kind of get things in there. So I didn't say to her, use this color with this archangel or that archangel. That was a very organic thing for her.
Wow.
I know, right?
Wow.
And when people see them or use them, my thinking, I established the colors. So I'm just going to grab this one right here. And this is in the pink. And these are the romance and love cards. And so I established the colors of the themes, like the romance theme was pink, right? So that's kind of where I had intention with the themes, but not so much the angels that represent on the card, the color. That was purely the artist.
It comes together. Even when you were sleeping, you were probably exchanging ideas. Like, it's going to go like this and it could go like that, right?
More than likely. And that would have been great if I would have had a sense and that would have felt maybe a little easier. I don't doubt that was happening, but it was a very long 5-year process to create it because I wanted to sit in that meditation spot and then do my automatic writing to have it flow from a very genuine as I could possibly get it, as humanly possible as I could move myself out of the way to create it is where it came from. And I have coincidentally been working on a different kind of deck for quite some time. It's a little bit tabled, but it's the same long flow. That's why it takes me 5 to 10 years to get a deck out.
It's a baby. It's a labor of love. No rush.
Yeah, like I'm an elephant mom.
You know what? It's good. I'd rather, you know, you have just care around it than just pushing it out. So
yeah,
it sounds like all divine timing to me.
Yeah, it's what it felt like. Yeah.
So I would say, are you feeling like you're ready to dive in?
I am. And so this is how I thought that for the sake of the show and perhaps maybe getting to as many people as possible, that I would pull straight with the intention for someone from the deck and then add a little to it. Here's the thing too, when we're, so I'm not necessarily going to use the booklet that comes with it. If people want to get the deck, they can always go back through the cards that they get, perhaps write it down what you get, and then you can go back through and fine tune a little more for yourself, because more will be revealed over time. Sometimes a card makes sense immediately, and then other times it may take a day or two, or how things unfold. And if someone doesn't have the deck, I want them to hold on to the notion or write down what comes through and see how it unfolds over the next few months, even to see where that can be inspired for them. But I'm going to say take action immediately as it relates to these cards kinds of things. And I'm not sure who's open or wants to receive any kind of a message here. So if anybody wants to let me know if they are totally open to receiving a message. It looks like Courtney is. I'm going to try to get to everybody as possible. So I will start here.
Liz and Lori as well. So we got
starting to see.
As soon as we start and we say we're ready to start, it starts opening up.
Yeah. Try to do this as much as possible. Now
they're very gentle. They're patient at first.
I love that. You guys are so kind already. Great. I like to clear the energy of the deck by knocking on it, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't even know why I do it. It's just like a habit I have, which is never necessary. And I encourage my students to shuffle their cards this way. But I always say, if it's your deck, you do you. Always do you, and enjoy however you like to shuffle the cards. I never even mind, just to let people know, if someone else touches my deck. I never feel like that's a bad thing. In my opinion, if you don't want other people to touch a deck that you have, then you don't need to let other people touch a deck. I always feel like people add good energy to everything, you know, the people that I know or the people. So that's how I feel about it. And I promised Courtney, right? So
yeah,
Courtney, I'm just going to feel into what feels right for me. I like to cut the deck. So I'm going to cut it and let's see what shows up. Ooh, look at that one. This is in the area of creativity. Miss Courtney is moving into a time of being creative. Now, we often think of creative as something that has to do with the arts, right? But it doesn't have to do with the arts, Courtney. This can relate to getting creative in solving a problem. Getting creative in cleaning out closets is literally what I started to see. I started to see her like open up things, take things out, purge things, get rid of them. So maybe being creative and seeing what you can let go of, what in your house is ready to be purged so that the new can show up. And let me read to you what it says here, because this is super hard to read if you were just to look at it. But you can see how she's walking along in a sense of bringing inner peace, right? I think of this gal, and she's got the angels. You can see an angel right behind her.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
Just kind of like off in the distance, gently and softly. That is also what I'm hearing here, is that you've got this. We don't even need to intervene with you, Courtney. You've got this. Knowledge is inside of you already. But the words on the card read, you have a team of archangels helping you at this time with your life changes. These changes will bring you closer to the life of your dreams. we often need to follow through with our changes. And that's kind of that sense of why I feel purging. One of the activities that my students and just about every class I teach is they have to do some kind of purging, and usually in their environment, whether it's restructuring an environment, like moving things around, or it's literally cleaning out your makeup drawer and throwing old makeup away, getting rid of all the old underwear, whatever it is. It's like a purging of something. Some people do a whole closet, some people do a kitchen. And so that clears energy so that we can live more at peace and have more of what we need to enter in, even if it has nothing to do with the makeup, right? Even if it has nothing to do with that. So that's the message here for you. And a whole team, Courtney, for goodness sakes. I often see that, especially if it's the very first card. Look at me having struggles trying to get this straight on the camera.
I'm looking at all of it because every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I noticed something different, right?
Right? Yeah. And there's a little Easter egg on every card that I have. There's a little something that represents me, and it's on every single card. But anyway, that energy that people have when it's the whole team often means that there's somebody that naturally connects to the angelic realms themselves. So there you go. There you go, Miss Courtney. You probably are working with the angels very, very closely. I was paying attention to what I was doing and not so much what was being typed in the chat. So hopefully that tracks well for you, my friend. And
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll see who else we want to get to, or if there was something. I don't know. Are we going back and forth? Is it your turn now?
Yeah, I'm honestly whatever you're vibing. So I'll pick. Sometimes we can do a tag team on both. It's like whatever you want, I'm down for. Courtney was saying yes. Where was the comment at the top? But earlier on she was laughing because she's like, oh my gosh, I'm cleaning out all my closets. Like everything is out right now. I haven't gone through my makeup yet, but she's like, I'm going, spring cleaning. So right on the money. And so she said it resonates right from the beginning, and she's like, I'll continue to do that. So she was taking it all in. Yeah, she says everything's in the living room right now. And then she said, thank you so much. So absolutely, yes. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, so I'm gonna do Liz. Liz wants a reading. And so I have a we're talking about like styles, right? Because you started with like, this is my style. And I just honor whatever kind of feels right. I have certain things that I always go back to for sure. But I feel until I stop on a card, and sometimes it pops out. Sometimes like the feeling of the card lets me know what the card's for as I'm pulling it. And I just keep my mind blank, but I just open it up. And sometimes I like people touching my cards, and sometimes I don't like people touching my cards. It just depends on the day. It really does.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I love it. I love to talk about it. Like probably there's certain decks where I would just be like, oh, this is and other decks I'm like, here, touch it, feel it. Like, or cut the deck, right? So it's just whatever I'm vibing. Sometimes and this is what I did today because this is what I was feeling. Oh, they're slipping out of my hands for some reason. I have two. And so I probably might pick from both, like one and one. So that's what I was vibing. Usually I just do one, but that's what I was feeling. Okay. So for Liz, she wants a reading. Okay. Just kind of take my time in the beginning.
Yes.
All right. All right, and then I'm going to pick one more from the other deck. So the first one I got for Liz is, this one's, all right, here we go. Hot off the press. Okay, this is going to sound kind of creepy, so just bear with me. It's the Goblins card, okay? I got the Goblins card, and it was upside down. It's not creepy. It's just letting you know that, there are times within our life where we're understanding our motivations for things, our desires for things. And sometimes we don't know why we do things, and other times we do. And we go, wow, this really is gnawing at me or overtaking my life. And it's things involved with like our ego, right? The things that we're sorting through, the things that kind of keep coming back to us repetitively. And it's kind of just a sign to clear house and go within and understand what's really motivating you. Like, is it your higher self? Is it your goals? Or is it kind of what you feel like I should be doing this or I want this? You know, why do you want the things that you do? Why do you feel like you should be doing that? Why do you think it's so important? Why do you want it so bad? And when cards are flipped over, for me, it's a sign of, okay, this is energy that's kind of difficult to work with for me because it's really emotional. It's really personal. It hits home. Like there's hurt sometimes around how I feel about this. So whenever I see kind of the goblins card in this deck, you know, I look at the forest right here. I'll bring it back up. I look at the forest, and the forest is dark and things are changing, and you know the roots kind of are coming up. So it's like, where do I really put my time and energy? Like I have to change my identity. I have to really start to look at myself differently. What do you really want? That just comes really in strong. And it's interesting because it comes accompanied with the playground card. Okay. And this is in the right setup place. And this is all about laughter and joy and going back to your soul, going back to like just the simplicity of, yeah, I like that. So what? And when you're a kid, you're kind of just like laughing. You might fall down, you might scrape your knee, but you're just like, okay, I'm going to, if there's something fun going on, I'll brush it off and, you know, away I go. And I want to have fun, right? And it's kind of like getting back on the swing and going, you know what just is easy? What just makes me happy? And when we're in the goblin kind of card, that's like all the muck. That's how we've been told we want to be. That's like how we are trying to heal who we've been trying to be. And this is just back to the purity of who we want to be. And it's like, look at what she's holding. She's holding the dandelions. She's like, make a wish on yourself. Okay. And that's the energy I'm in. It's just kind of like, yeah, it might feel like you're white knuckling it at times, but pretty soon you're going to lift up your hands and go, you know what, this is not so bad. So that's kind of the energy I'm picking up for you. It's like, get back to the lightheartedness. And this is just as amazing, elevated, and the human experience as this one. This doesn't mean that, you know, you've gone for the trenches, always the symbol of this. This means it because you've returned back to yourself. And so that's what I'm getting for you, Liz. And if that makes sense, great.
Yeah. Perspective too. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're vibing with Liz or you're vibing with another name, because we have a lot of different, you can scroll up. We have a lot of people that asked for readings before, or you can just wherever you see it right here.
Yeah. And I noticed Lori earlier. And so I'll move on to Lori. Girl, this is for you. Don't hold your breath. Breathe it in. Here we go. I'm just holding my heart as I think of Lori.
Liz is like, my computer was freezing. I'm going to have to rewatch your message. I'm like, that's okay, Liz. That's just come back whenever it resonates.
Right. She can review it on YouTube or wherever it's available. Yes.
It's those crazy goblins.
Here we go. Lori, ready? Here we go. This is like family card. Now, on the surface, now the blue cards are about family and dealing with family. And this absolutely shows a couple there and someone pregnant. And it looks like they're remodeling or creating a baby's room, right? This is more what I'm receiving, Lori, for you is the idea of creating my dreams, giving birth to my dreams, having other people around that support the dreams that I'm bringing about. Also feels like it's important for you to begin to do some writing. This is Archangel Gabriel. I think of it as Archangel Gabriel. It's very feminine energy with her. And this is definitely a card about bringing something through to birth that also relates to communication. Can it mean actual birth? If somebody's on here, not necessarily Lori, but anybody that's on here, think about, am I ready to actually give physical birth? Am I wanting to? This could be your sign too, right? Like we're not necessarily leaving anyone out. But Lori, Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Sandalphon are supporting your desires for children and giving birth to your dreams. Now, perhaps something you're communicating can also benefit young people, right? I keep feeling that there is this strong adaptivity that you can help with the world. I feel like an advocate kind of voice for you. I'm sensing that there will be a time of moving into needing to communicate things. So I hope this is making sense for Lori about giving birth to her dreams. But with Gabriel and Sandalphon, it's about letting your inspirations flow through you, being guided. It's not being at any or every whim. It's that focus on, I've got something to say, and when the time is right, it's going out there into the world. It's being inspired at the right timing. It's being gifted to everybody from young to old is the sense here. Now, I don't know why, but this card doesn't necessarily represent this, but I do feel like a change in household for you. I feel like some kind of a change in perhaps living situation, or maybe even an update to the home or a move. This is not the move card, but for some interesting reason, I'm sensing something with that. So, and I don't feel any need to worry or panic as it relates to that. Wasn't feeling you were going to give birth to an actual child here, but just like we were talking about my cards, giving birth to them after a long time, right? They're like babies for me, if you will. It's that same notion here, giving birth to things you love, giving birth to dreams, and needing to communicate and be a communicator.
She says the last part would be great. Is that a reference to a child, Lori? A move? Is that so her mind's somewhere within that. As you're talking to, the house, yeah, the move that she's like, that would be great. So that's on her mind somewhere. You were talking about like energies too, like old and young. And I kept seeing like this child like in a car seat. And I'm like, is that, a friend's baby or a family member? But it just, that energy, that youthful energy, I feel inspires Lori in a way to look at her life like, don't take life so seriously. And what do I kind of really want? Because again, it's kind of like their energy and what's going on within their life. It makes me reevaluate my life. And so they're that kind of perking up around. I don't know. I feel that with like the children. She says
do public speaking, but I wasn't seeing it that way so much. It was more about people that she knew or people that were around getting her voice out. Sometimes people use the term speaking your truth or communicating things out, writing things maybe even for later that she wants documented, maybe family history, things like that, because it's a family card. So it can very much relate back to getting the support you need to say things to people in the family, to communicate to neighbors, your community. It's being able to get that voice out and being heard kind of thing. And giving birth to a dream because of it. Maybe the dream is related to more peace or having more community within your own family even. Sometimes this can lead to a healing even. Write it down so that you get clarity with what you even want to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's just remind ourselves, though, speaking our truth doesn't mean we have to become a jerk. Like I often hear people say, well, this is just I'm speaking my truth, and they're not kind about it. we can always remember to try to be kind and peaceful with how we say things. But yeah, I'm sure, Laura, that's not going to be a problem for you. I don't feel at all. Maybe
She's
you
like, give me all you got.
Yeah. Don't hold back. That's true. Yeah.
She's like, everything that you have for me, let me know. So yeah, I think it's just her life is moving forward and you're picking up so many different things on helping to move her life forward. Okay. Apparently Courtney knows Laura. She's like, she's a leader. She's cheering her on. She's a leader.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to choose. Oh, let me know if there's anything else on your mind. I'm going to go for Steve. He's asking anything for me. And let's see here. All right, I'm going to do this. Okay. All right. So I got the children. I'm going to scroll down so I can see everyone's comments. All right. I got the children card for Steve and also the power card. Okay. Interesting. I don't always get this card. This is one that like eludes me a little bit. So I'm going to feel into where I feel in. So with what I'm picking up with the power card, because I can feel that one stronger first, is it's about coming back to a sense of peace within your life and a sense of peace while you're busy. Okay. Because I do think you're one to know how to utilize your alone time. I do think you're one to organize your head, and you do have that peace for yourself. But when you're out and about with others, or when you have plans and you're trying to go above and beyond, because I feel like he's an empathetic person. So when you're trying to help out, or when you're trying to be a part of something, all of a sudden it's like there's this discord of I could have done more, or, you know, do people appreciate me? I feel like there's like this kind of back and forth of you just want to give more, and you just want people to see how you can be a rock for people, that you are an advocate for people. And it's like knowing our personal power so that we radiate it and we're at peace with what we can offer, and we're at peace with what we can continue to do. Okay, cool. So you're stepping into that power, and it's just about then putting it forward to the next level, no matter how it's received. I do feel like, but this card, it's so funny. Sometimes we're like, why did I pull this card? Why did I pull this card? But I keep feeling connected to the children aspect, that it really goes back to, I feel like there's a tenderness within your heart, because I talked about the needing to want to help, the needing to just, you have this kind of natural predisposition. So I do feel like you have this longing to help others, like kind of not in the best position within life. You kind of, you root for the underdog. And I do feel like you do have this soft place. It's not just pure children itself. It's like anyone who kind of comes across as innocent and just needing help. Okay. So there's this grace with that naturally comes along. And I feel like it's just, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I don't know if you've ever thought about going into charity work, or if you do charity work, but the reason why I'm saying that is because there's just so much more to give within your heart. And I feel like there's this void of how I want to give more. I want to be around people more. I want to be part of something bigger than myself. And so whether it's directly with children, whether that's something you directly do now, or it's just a plight for helping the innocent, helping the underdog, that comes in strong. And it's just like, trust those feelings and trust that type of creativity that's kind of pulling at you, even if you're just like, yeah, I feel that way, I just want to help. Well, you know, what's the next level of that? And that's what I'm getting. And he said, okay. He says, okay, I understand. Okay.
Every time you talk about Steve, and obviously you were just talking about him, I kept seeing the stars, planets and stars. Wonder if he connects to like that notion of starseed children or galactic children, or his family in the stars. So it was a really neat feeling that I was getting of him being watched over by spirit team that would be more from the stars, the star people. So
It says yes.
there you go. Star family probably in here, others as well. That was beautiful. I loved that. Is it all right if I go with Michelle?
Go with whoever. I mean, you know, as soon as you start saying stuff, I go like, oh, I see like a telescope and stars, and
right?
That's something about like, you know, his interests, and you know, and then you're checking with the star people. So it's like it's just fun. It's fun. Yeah, just
I feel like that sense of the Orion and the Orion system. Like I don't, so whether that's the one or not, that may just be what comes to mind. And Michelle, I see here something about the future, and the angels don't necessarily predict the future, but they do help lead people to getting what they want or moving forward. And so we'll see what happens, Michelle. Here we go. All right. I'm going to hold to my heart for Michelle. Love that. Let's just see what comes up for Miss Michelle. All right.
Steve.
Oh, another family. And this is about a lot about children with this group. And so I'll read what this says, but you can see children in there and angels there in the background. It's hard to see, I know, but I just wanted everybody to sense the cards. Archangel Metatron is supporting your work or parenting with children. He is also watching over your children as they have spiritual gifts. Sometimes people will say, yeah, but I don't have kids or what have you. It could mean that there is an impact that you'll be making. So stay open to that. But I sense with this being able to make an impact with kids who are very sensitive, whether that's about foods, whether that's about their spiritual gifts, whether it's about like the whole starseed thing, that kind of concept is where I feel there's an inner child in you that really, really could use that time to play with kids or the idea of your kids. And then your kids will have friends that are kids, right? And so it feels like that ring around the rosies kind of feeling, but in a sense of supporting them with what maybe some other people around them might think is outlandish ideas, our spiritual nature, or the joy and kindness that's around them. And children are very naturally creative. So it makes sense that you would have children. Okay. Oh, you have 2 children at home. Perfect. That to me then really speaks of helping foster their spiritual gifts so that they have that strength that they walk through the world with of knowing who it is. Here's what I'm hearing for you to start to play around with them. Not needing an answer. So depending on their age, so just kind of be mindful of that. But the notion of who is the thinker of your thoughts? Because you know, sometimes kids can get anxious, especially gifted kids or kids with spiritual gifts. They can sometimes feel anxious. And so say to them, who is the thinker of your thoughts? It can be a big question to ask, and we never put to mind these questions to needing the answer. They're like that notion of there's something more bigger in me than is just this sense of this body. Or in meditation, we also have the big question is, who is the one looking through these eyes? Right? There's more to who it is that we are, and helping them to really own that. Oh, I'm sure she's very gifted, Michelle. I can see this now. Oh, and even with a singing voice. I love that, helping her own that from that spiritual aspect of she is a child of the universe. I mean, some people could say a child of God. I'm not putting religion in there, but that there is the gifts that she has, and she gets to choose how it goes, but that you're there to support her. I think you're the perfect mom for these kids. And I think any kids come into your orbit. So there you go. How fun that you've got beautifully gifted children. And sometimes they surprise us that we don't necessarily always see it exactly the same in every child. And as having been an educator, a teacher, and a mom myself, My son's about to be 30 years old, so that like ages me right
Wow.
there. But that we don't always see it in them very straight front, right? That notion of that straight front giftedness, like they're seeing things. Or my son had a BS meter that was so big, like if somebody wasn't telling him the truth, he could not play Santa Claus when he was even 3 because he
What?
looked at us like we were crazy.
He's like, what's the point of this? Is that?
No, it was more like he was like, that's not true. He would say stuff like that. That's not true. That's not true. So I'd be like, oh, good. Yeah. Well, let me just tell you how it goes then and why we don't ruin it for others. And he was so with it. He didn't ruin it for his cousins when everybody was there for Christmas. So I'm not telling people that they have to tell their kids there isn't a Santa. Like that's a case by case situation. But I feel like, yeah, Michelle's got the most beautiful children on her journey with her. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Love it.
And they have the gentleness, just like your son, to be mindful of Santa. Yeah, I remember in school, it is an event when someone comes up to you and goes, yeah, that's not real. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? I remember when I talked to my family about it, I'm like, well, what else is not real? You know, what else is not real? Like, is the Easter Bunny real? And they're like, oh, no. And then like, okay, is God real? And they're like, oh yes, God's real. You know, I had questions. I was like, what's real to you that you've been teaching me? Right.
Yeah.
And the children are mirrors like that. They're really, really, yeah. It's amazing. I don't have kids. You would know more than I, but kids are fun. Let me tell you. Okay. So I'm going to jump to Suzanne. She was up top. So Suzanne, if you're still around, just let me know. Sometimes people pop in and out. Everyone in the group kind of waiting right now for a reading, just pop down that you'd like a reading because some of the comments were at the top. So make sure that you're writing it again so we can see you down at the bottom. I love all the comments, but just say that you want a reading. You can ask your question if you want. So I'm scrolling up to where I was, and I'm going to pick a card for Suzanne. So Suzanne D. Okay. Okay. Right. And then I'm going to pull from the other deck.
I see you, Debbie Bellinger. I see you there. I think Debbie. Okay. Yeah. I'll go with Debbie next after you do Suzanne.
Perfect. Awesome. And then we got Karen and Tracy coming in. So perfect. All right. So for Suzanne, I got the family card. And then I also got the magical shapeshifter card. Okay. And so what I'm feeling is it's just, honestly, it's redefining how family works for you. And I feel like this is going back all the way from when you were a child. So sometimes we're looking at our family and it's like, what can I do to try to, you know, help my children? What can I try to do to help what's going on around me right now? But this card really makes me feel, with everyone holding each other, that this is like a family kind of tree. Like, what have you carried over the generations that you find is still in the family that's not working for you? And it's kind of like taking a look at the big picture, like grandma did this, mom did that, dad was like this. And even though I don't do what dad does, what do I have left over to what dad brought to the family? And how do I see that that's still kind of present going on? Like, that's something that we had to go through. That's something that everybody knows about within the family. So how can I work with some of these things that I define as family? So it's the healing work, and it's like a different perspective change. And it's like, sometimes, like within families, things are overly practical. Like, well, that's just the way it is. Or, you know, must be nice to, let's say, cut loose, go on vacation, and try to reset, but that's not the way life is. And I feel like there's some of these thoughts going out where it's like, I'm ready for things to be a little different. Okay. I'm thinking about kind of doing things a little bit different. And so some of the game changers are just even how you spend your money. You know, some of the game changers are how you're willing to listen to people within the family or say, you know what, that was messed up. Or, you know what, I've never said this to you, but you really, you know, need to be grateful for this and that. It's like, what haven't you said and what have you let go? Because you just think life operates like that. So there's a redefining of the family and looking out to the future and kind of like making place for not only your dreams, but kind of leading a better, more present vibration in what the family can be and what you can be. And that leads me back to the magical shapeshifter. It's like we can be alchemists within our life. Like we can be changers within our life. And so it's kind of like, okay, I feel different. That's the whole thing when these two cards, I don't think she's around. But if you're out there, Suzanne, just come back in. So, but if you watch this later, this is just about an identity change. Like you feel different than you did 5 years ago. You feel different than you did 3 years ago. There's another shift 3 years in. And I feel like you're just like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm doing this and I'm going to find it along the way. So just keep on with that. And it is going to make an impact with family. And that's what I got.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I wanted to say really quick to Tracy Hicks that I do feel her and her puppy will be a very good team, but that there's extra patience or love. And I get the discipline is necessary for a service dog, but I feel like you might have to go a little longer. And I'm going to say something strange. I don't know if it's going to make sense right now, but I'm seeing this. I feel like this dog may also have some kind of a specialty or be extra good at something. Not sure what that is, but thought I'd throw it out there. Okay, let me go here to Debbie Bellinger, who was waiting patiently at the top. I thought she might have had to get back into work or something. So let's see what comes up for Debbie. I hold this to my heart. Okay.
A dog's such a love, though, Tracy. Just such a love.
I've got my pup sitting right here next to me, very quietly. Oh my goodness, Miss Bellinger. There we go. We've got a purple card. This is in the spirituality section of my deck. And it's Archangel Metatron, again with Metatron, working with our energy field, the Merkaba or the Merkaba around our energy field. And Archangel Uriel are helping you gain perspective on events in your life. Perspective often just means that we need to focus on a bigger picture, or focus on what we can learn, what we can gain, how we can grow. Look at her. She's heard something going on, and she gets the energy of Tracy's beautiful pup that's probably around.
Right. She's like, wait a second.
This is taking on a hurt or a pain from a new perspective. You don't have to hang on to it or hanging on to an area of life that feels heavy. Go back to what I was saying earlier. Who is the one looking through these eyes? Because that one is not worried. The you that is looking through the eyes, the thinker of the thought, is not worried about situations in life or the panics or things like that. And oddly enough, I feel like that may be perspective at work, Miss Bellinger. And I feel like there may be an opportunity for some kind of a incremental raise, because I'm being shown an image of things going up for you. And then I saw a dollar sign. So I just like to give everything I'm getting. And we're just going to hold that energy that more money is coming your way, sister. There we go.
Dollar signs are always fun. Yes, I love it. Someone was saying they heard and saw everything regarding like a message, but I don't see what their name is because it's coming as Facebook user. So if you have something to say about one of the messages with Leanne or myself, you can just let us know the relevance of that too. But thank you. And for Debbie says thank you. She's excited. She's like, Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Good news on the horizon.
Yeah, you saw nothing but good when
Mhm.
you have an energy sign going like that.
And when it's
Abundance,
yeah,
abundance.
and when it's a spirituality card, it's that it's a consciousness that relates to money and abundance. Seeing things is always lining up for me. Wealth is I have all my needs always met. That kind of perspective leads into more coming.
I do think that money is just showcasing what your consciousness is. Money is a symbol.
Yeah.
So it does make perfect sense that they're correlated. In Hawaii, I heard that the philosophy is if you're now, I don't subscribe to this. I don't subscribe to this because I don't think anything's one way. But in Hawaii, it's in their culture to a certain degree. If you're not rich, that means you have spiritual issues
Oh,
because you're blocking your abundance. Isn't that interesting?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's food for thought for sure. Without blaming anybody that's going through a rough time or things like that, it's still really good food for thought.
Right, exactly. It's an angle on things because I do think that there are fantastically wonderful people out there that actually have their energy in order and life, gives them a different plan and it's just like, okay, it's not exactly one size fits all, but
Yes,
yeah,
well said.
I thought that was really interesting and it was kind of around a spiritual community that does a lot of energy work and that was they were like leading they're like, okay, like when you tap into your spirit you get abundance, so if there's blockages you have to keep going back to what is limiting you. So
Right.
yeah,
And I've
it was
met
interesting.
people that are big CEOs of corporations with millions of dollars that are extremely unhappy, and
Right.
people that will come in and they're hairdressers, masseuses, and they want a tip and they just got this beautiful flow and they love their life and they're, all of these things. So it's not really just about how big your bank account is and how rich you are.
There's different types of wealth, right?
Mhm.
Exactly. Karen says my dad is Hawaiian and yes, they believe that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting culturally what means what, right? So
Yeah.
interesting.
I want to honor
Okay.
that for sure. Their thinking and take it on as food for thought. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I think I'm gonna take Karen. I'm gonna take Karen. I was going for Karen or someone else, and I was on, and that was my sign. Okay, Karen. All right. So Karen, I think you wanted a general. All right. All right. So here's the cards I got. So I got the question card and also the mail card. Okay. And I got the mail card upside down. And so for me, immediately when I see this card, I think about like spirit guides, the other side, loved ones, and it makes me like go to a place where I'm wondering kind of the validations of my own experiences. I feel like you believe and I feel like you trust, but it's like that next level of um, you've had signs come up with your spirit guides and your loved ones directly, and you're wondering kind of, how can I have more? How can I have more? And like, it's like, I don't know what it is, if it's like a cologne you've gotten, because I keep being taken back to like there's some type of like scent or there's some type of something that kind of like knocked you over like the head where you're just like, that's real. And then it's like, what else? What are they trying to tell me? When can I have it? You know what I mean? Like it's some of those experiences. And I keep going back to like around a bathroom, whether it's right outside of a bathroom, like a bathroom connected to your bedroom, but just it was close to the bathroom where I kind of got knocked over my head with some of these sensations. I feel like it was between rooms. I know that kind of sounds weird. It's like between rooms. But I do feel like there has been like callings. So can you understand like your name has been called or you've heard a voice, Karen? Can you understand that? Because I do really feel like you've gotten indicators and it's kind of just like, okay, this is cool and this is cool and I feel like it's just looping with that in mind. And I do feel like it comes back to your everyday. I do think that as long as you're open and receptive to things happening to you, you're going to get more messages where you can pass it on to your.
So I lost sound. I'm not sure if anybody else lost sound.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, there I can. I can hear you now.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I actually my when I was talking, my thumb turned off the sound. I don't know. When did that happen? Just now?
Maybe a sentence or two ago.
Oh, I have no idea what I said. So I was just talking about how so she's getting some of these signs at random times and she's wondering, well, how do I work with these things? And I do feel like since she hears things and thinks things, so sometimes you just think it, so you don't even hear it. That as long as you're going with what naturally is happening in the conversation, I do think it lends itself to the advice that somebody needs, and you're going to find that stream for yourself. It's like, as long as it's just coming in and you're working with it and you're not going like, what the heck is that? Why would that come in? And you just talk about it. I do feel like it's what the doctor ordered. So I'm acknowledging that Karen has these coincidences happen to her and they're happening more often. So Karen, if you can understand that, please let me know. And then I do think that comes back to kind of the questioning card, like, where do I go next? Where do I go next? And this is a time where your intuition is coming in stronger. And it's actually, you have more at your disposal than you realize. So that's what I'm getting.
I love that. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm going to have to wrap up here just in a bit since I'm on puppy duty kind of thing. I would love, though, to pull, I think we have Princess in the chat still, if she's still there.
Sure. Sure.
That would be great. If not, we can shift gears a little bit. Did we get to everyone?
We go a little bit till like about 2:05 or something. Is that okay? We'll just put we'll pick one more.
I just wanted to.
So Princess has a question. If anyone wants to pop down their questions, let us know. Princess, and just scrolling up, who else asked?
I'm not seeing her, so maybe she bowed out, but I think then
we asking for like a card concerning love. Oh, she's still here. She's still here.
Yes, we'll
okay, cool.
All right. I feel like this is ready. What do we have? Oh, we got this card again about kids and being powerful for kids. So let me know if you heard that message about kids, but I'm going to read it again. Archangel Metatron is supporting your work or parenting with children. He is watching over your children as they have spiritual gifts. And if you don't have children, it doesn't mean that, I didn't mention this last time, but our fur babies are our fur babies. And sometimes we've got Tracy and others in the chat room, and somebody else said that they were teaching their dog things. Think about when we have what the energy impact that we can have on the animal kingdom as well. And that we need to be good custodians of the animal kingdom. But take on the message that was said before, Princess, also recognizing that you can have an impact on young people in the world. It feels to me that you would have a connection to children and be making an impact. I'm even being shown the image of a young girl, not just your inner child, but I feel like that the sense of a young girl that would be around you. I'm not sure how young. They're just showing me symbol for young girl that you are making an impact on. So that feels really good. Sometimes we're not sure if we're making a difference or what do I need to do or things that way. And I feel like you're doing a great job. That's the sense I feel about the young people in your life. I'm not sure what I'm sensing here also about maybe an in-law, a female. I don't know if she's a sister-in-law, a daughter-in-law. I'm hearing like something with an in-law, mother-in-law, something about a family connection that feels a little bit like in-law. Oh, and 2-month-old nephew. Okay, well, I feel like there are people that maybe like on that nephew side of the family are a female connected that way to you as well. There's a female, there's a definite more than one female that I feel you make a positive impact on. Also, I wouldn't rule out the idea that children won't come into your life in more ways. Yeah. And even this isn't the giving birth card, but it certainly represents having a connection to children. So I'm going to own it because whether you have them or not, or want them or not, I know that that will be something that manifests for you. So there you go. You'll be the queen at that point and not just the princess.
Exactly. Walk into your queendom. When I was kind of shuffling the deck, the secret card fell out. And so just the way that you feel about love and what you want in life. And you were talking about like Leanne, that's something that is kind of like on the horizon, like children, like later on, you're kind of like saying that's in her heart somewhere. It's just know what you want and don't be afraid to share it. Don't keep your hopes and dreams a secret because you want to look more desirable or you want to be more presentable. Like put yourself out there. Don't share everything. Like protect yourself. Protect what you think upholds who you are, but don't be afraid to share your dreams because you have to create your dreams with someone else and they have to know where you're at. So that's what's coming across. Yeah. Oh, cool. Karen's back. I love it. She says, yes, I heard my name called and smelled my dad's cologne so strong after he passed of COVID. He even turned my computer on. My stepmom kept ringing. But no one was on the line, turning lights on and off. At my daughter's house, he visits me in my dreams a lot. He was an awesome dad, and that's connected to the dad card. Yeah, I could have leaned into that one a little bit more, but that makes total sense, Karen. He never went to church and talked to God, but I know he's definitely watching out for me after 2 heart attacks at 50. Oh my gosh, we're sending you love around your heart and the strength of your body, Karen. And I'm glad that resonated with you. Okay, I'm glad that resonated with you. And Princess loved her message too. She's like, I hope to have children someday.
Yes. Oh, good. And take it as your sign. It's totally possible. Totally.
Yes. I'm going to pull one card for just a quick one for Stephanie. She was up top asking for one. And so Stephanie, this card comes in for you. It's the summer card. And I love when I get these cards for people, and I usually get them at the very end. I don't try; they just pop in. Whether it's I didn't even use my own deck today. I have a makeshift deck that it's like I didn't even think about it, right? But usually I have a card called the Summer Song card, or I'll get the summer card from like Lisa's deck, right? And it's all about like having fun. So people come in at the end just for the quick remembrance of, look, we only have one life as, Kelly, as Leanne, as Stephanie. It's just live out from the heart and live in your joy. Put yourself in the best environments and you will attract people that are of your same caliber. So keep investing in yourself and show up for yourself. And just open your heart in the environments where you feel most like yourself and you have the most fire of your being in those places where you put yourself in feeling so alive. And there you go. That's the summer card, beaming like the sun. All right. So, Leanne, where can people find you?
AngelicHope.com is my website. I'm Leanne Thomas Medium on Facebook and Instagram. So you can find me there. And I do have a YouTube channel. You can find it either through Leanne Thomas or Angelic Hope. And I have many meditations on there that you can utilize. It's not like a professional YouTube channel like the professional ones, but it's still good stuff.
And what is your deck called? And if you can show them again. I know it's the Angelic Hope. Angelic.
Yep. Let me see if I can get Archangel Oracle cards by Leanne Thomas.
And someone was asking up top, like where they could find them or purchase them. They were curious about
on my website,
getting some.
AngelicHope.com.
Okay. Awesome. 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 I always give people the last word. My lovely guests, you are that. So what would you like to lead us out with?
Oh, me.
Yes, you.
That you have a whole spirit team around you. Everyone does. And putting in some mind space every day to invite them in. And it doesn't have to be because you're struggling with anything. It's just the notion of inviting in your spirit team, angels, guides, our pets in the spirit world, loved ones. Invite them in throughout your day. Ask them for whatever you need to know or see or do. I like saying the phrase, show me the truth, show me the way, show me the light. And the light means help me stay aware. So that's what I say to my my team all day long. Show me the truth, show me the way, show me the light.
Well, we have a similar saying. So within that grace, please everybody go with light, luck, love, laughter, and don't forget to live. Thank you so much, Leanne, for being on the show today and your lovely messages and your deck. I had so much fun with you.
So much fun. Yes. Thank you.
Went by,
with all my heart.
Thank you with mine. It went by in just a flash. Take care, everybody. See you next week. And love and light, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.